Tonight's episode of Q Weekly is proudly brought to you by Fitness First.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and insert gender here. I'm Stevie, here on Q Weekly on Bent TV. I'm so glad that you could join us here on this fantastic Monday night. Now, we have an absolute mixed bag of a show for you this evening. We have Michael King, Vox popping down Greville Street with a very intriguing Vox Pops subject. Stay tuned for that. We have the Deaf, Gay and Lesbian Association in here speaking to us. We also have Bent TV's Alan Duncan speaking to Bill Calder regarding the Australian Rainbow Awards 2004. And we have Q Calendar, of course. So we have a fantastic show. Stay tuned. Now, we're about to go to Michael King, who's on Greville Street, and our Vox Pop subject for tonight is the Melbourne gay scene. Is it stagnating?
Hi, I'm here with Jake, and the question tonight, of course, Stevie, is the gay scene in Melbourne stagnating, is it? Jake?
It is a little. I think there could be a few more alternative venues that are a bit more upmarket, where owners are really invested in what they're actually offering.
Do you think, though, that the gay market is heading more towards the straight market, as in we don't care where we go, we're going to pick up wherever we go, or...?
It is, and that's probably a good thing. Well, it's something that I prefer.
Yeah, me too.
So
yeah.
that suits me. But there could still be some quality upmarket gay venues that you get overseas. You get them in the US and in Europe, and you just don't really see that much here in Australia.
No, that's true, actually. It's very true. Do you think there's still a place for our pubs, that kind of thing? Or?
There is a place. They still seem pretty full. I don't go that regularly myself, but yeah, they still seem pretty full. But I think that there's an opportunity to increase the scope of what options there really are.
I mean, I know it's an ageist thing. It depends on what age you are and what you're doing, but...
I was going to say no, I think it's changed, though. I don't think it's stagnated. I think the whole thing's changed.
Changed for the better or the worse?
Both.
Oh, and you?
I think virtually the same, though it's not so consistent in one street anymore. It's across the whole town.
So there's no gay ghettos anymore?
No.
We're kind of out there
I think
across the whole board.
Yeah, and also a situation where people are more aware of what they're doing, where they're going and what they want.
How they're going to spend their dollar.
Yeah. And times have changed. People don't have the money to spend the same way as they used to.
No, I don't. I think the gay scene in Melbourne's actually picking up a lot.
I was just going to say, is this an ageist thing? Because coming from someone who's maybe a little bit older, like me, I mean, it doesn't go out to venues a lot, yada yada, you would think maybe it is stagnating. But if you're still going out, is it still live, vibrant?
I think it's getting, the clubs are getting busier. People are being more confident with going out heaps. I live down in the suburbs, and we've just had our first gay club open down there.
Really?
Just on Friday night. So I think that's a bit of a benchmark for the gay scene.
Definitely.
So I definitely think that it's picking up.
No, not at all. I don't think so.
You go out there? No. Do you occasionally go to the old Poofta venue?
Yeah, I go to them all. I don't go to straight
Hello,
venues.
fag hag extraordinaire. She's got the handcuffs on.
I think it just depends on where you go.
And do you think it... Well, that's true. And do you think it's an age thing too? Like, some poor bugger like me is obviously going to be home watching Foxtel, as opposed to someone your age.
Well, there you go. That's why it's stagnating. Yeah. And he wonders.
Thank you. This interview is over.
Thank you very much for that, Michael King, our Vox Popper out there on Greville Street. Now, is the gay scene stagnating in Melbourne? And if so, what would reignite it? If you would like your opinion on this week's Vox Pop topic, then please drop us a line at feedback@benttv.org.au and let us know what's on your mind. Now, I have with me here Cheryl and Wayne and Corina. Cheryl is the president of the Australian Deaf Gay Lesbian Association and also the Deaf Gay and Lesbian Association, and Wayne is the secretary. Welcome to you both. And we have Corina, who is our gracious interpreter. So thank you all for joining us. Now, the first thing that...
It's our pleasure.
Yes, oh sorry. Now the first thing that I'd like to ask is when and why was the Deaf Gay and Lesbian Association formed?
It started in 1983 and wasn't called the Deaf, Gay and Lesbian Association before. It was called MDA,
Oh, okay.
which is the Moomba Deaf Association. And then it changed in 1988. It changed to the Deaf, Gay and Lesbian Association.
Oh, okay. And what was its primary purpose when it first started, and its purpose now?
Oh, we were trying to encourage people who were coming out, who are gay and lesbian, or bisexual, or transgender. We were trying to welcome everybody and grow the group. It didn't matter if they were deaf or they were hearing, everyone could be connected together. Some people didn't know where they could contact the deaf, gay and lesbian people. They didn't know where to go. And with DGLA they can contact people.
Okay. Now, as you're saying, it doesn't matter if people can hear or not to be a member of the DGLA. Everyone's welcome?
Yep, everyone's welcome. Deaf or hearing, everyone's welcome.
Fantastic. And what type of resources are you able to offer to your members? Like you were mentioning newsletters before the show?
Yeah, we have a newsletter. The other things that we can give some discounts, like if you're going out socially, we can make it a bit cheaper. If you're not a member, then you'll pay the full amount. That's right.
Okay. And how many members are in the group currently?
At the moment, we have about 40. Yep, it's about 40. And it varies. So it goes up and down. Last time we had 80, last time we had 80, and now it's 40.
Okay. Now, resources for the deaf community, funds have depleted at the moment, I understand.
Yeah. There's just not enough. There's not enough government support, there's not enough government funding, there's nothing. We've put in a lot of hard work to raise money and we haven't gotten anything. So we've been trying to help DGLA, but there's no funds. So, yeah, it makes it hard.
Now, I understand that DGLA used to offer support and education in HIV/AIDS and safe sex, but you haven't been able to do that for the last 5 years because of the lack of funding.
Yeah, that's right. For five years ago, we were doing really well. We had the funding, and we could help people. We could help youth. We could help in education on HIV and AIDS, safe sex, training, teaching. Now we don't have anything, so we can't educate.
Yeah. Now, but people are able to make a contribution to the DGLA.
Yeah.
Yes, they can. So
We hope. We know it's hard work to try and find funding and try and get some money, but we really need that money to help for education and interpreting. We need interpreters. We need money to pay interpreters and paperwork, posting letters, all of that kind of stuff that you need to run an organisation.
Okay. Well, because obviously because there's not enough funding for these types of things, you obviously don't have the funding for advertising to let you know that you're there in the community, and so we're really glad that you're actually here with us today to be able to show people that you're there and what you're wanting to do. Now, if you would like to make a contribution to the DGLA, you can make a phone call to 9799 6951, or alternatively you can also drop an email to dglavic all in lowercase, at yahoo.com.au. If you'd like further information, and also if you'd like to make a contribution, it's a wonderful, wonderful cause. So please, if you are able to contribute, it would be absolutely marvellous. So Wayne, Cheryl and Corina, thank you all very much for joining us here on Q Weekly. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, it was an
It was
absolute...
really good.
Okay.
And we hope to see you next time.
Yes, we would love to have you back. Okay, and thank you very much. Now we're about to take a short break, so please stay with us here on Ben TV Q Weekly, and we will see you after this very short break.
You're watching Ben TV on Channel 31. I'm Slash Darling. What the f*** are you doing here, Melanie Breasts? This is my spot!
No, this is everybody's show. It's Channel 31.
Oh, fabulous! Please watch Ben TV on
Enjoy.
Channel 31!
Welcome back from that lovely little hiatus in between our little halves here. Now, you're watching Q Weekly on Bent TV. Now, coming up, we've got Q Calendar, but right now we're about to throw over to Alan Duncan, who's speaking with Bill Calder about the 2004 Rainbow Awards. Let's see what they have to say.
Thank you, Stevie. Yes, and it is indeed a great pleasure to welcome back to Q Weekly, Mr. Bill Calder. Bill, how are you going?
Good, Alan. Nice to be here.
Great to see you. Now, people will probably know your name, but not necessarily your face, because you do sort of beaver away in the background, almost kind of like a gay Rupert Murdoch, don't you? You've been a bit of a media mogul for some years now.
That's true, yes. I've probably been involved in media since the early 80s, really.
Early 80s. And how did you get into that line?
It was a small little activist newsletter that I first wrote for, which was called Gazette, that I was involved with for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
It kept going for quite some time after that. That was in '83.
Like one of those classic little photocopied things you see in archives on the smelly purple paper?
That's the one, yep, that was what it was. I wrote Group of the Month each month.
Oh, really? Looking at...
went off to a different community group and wrote a story about them.
Great.
So that was sort of my intro into journalism, and I then went off and worked for the Melbourne Times for a number of years.
A bit of mainstream in there, yes.
Yep. Then edited, was news editor for Outrage for a year or two, and editor of MSO before starting Brother Sister in '92.
Indeed. I mean, back in those days of Outrage, they were sort of almost seen by some as the halcyon days of the queer, glossy media, weren't they?
Ah, look, yeah, Outrage was a groundbreaking magazine, and you know, it was a magnificent magazine in its heyday.
How do today's compare, like your DNAs and your refreshers and all that?
They're doing very well. I mean, they've had to rebuild from like in 1999, the satellite media disaster that bought up all the media, including mine.
Which we'll touch on a bit in a minute,
But for DNA and Refresh, they've had to rebuild. I think it's a lot harder for a glossy mag to rebuild than a newspaper, a street press. But no, they're looking quite good these days.
Good. And as you say, you did indeed start Brother Sister as it was then. It was your baby, wasn't it? Along with a colleague, Jeff.
Yep, Jeffrey Grad. He was the creative force in it.
You broke off. You worked for Bluestone Media, who produced MSO, and then you broke off to form Brother Sister as a sort of a competition, didn't you?
It was, yeah. I had some frustrations with where Melbourne Star Observer was going then, and
in what way?
Principally, it was the poor cousin to Outrage. There was a lot of, I mean, look, Outrage was the flagship publication, but I was a newspaper man basically, and wanted more work and effort to be put into the newspaper, and that wasn't a direction that I could convince the owners to do. So, you know, but I won the argument because they did put a lot more energy and resources into it once Brother Sister emerged. So.
Oh well, you obviously did your job then, gave him a bit of stiff competition.
And look, to the proof's in the pudding too. In Australia, the street presses won really. They have become the more dynamic and more important sector of the print media than the glossy mags.
Well, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, because B News in its new incarnation is still going strong after the whole satellite business and all that disaster. Was it ever a concern in your mind when that happened about monopolisation of the queer press being all in one hand?
No, I didn't. I know a lot of people did worry about that. I mean, I saw the positives of what could be achieved with the right dictator, I suppose, really. And we didn't get the right dictator, but the possibilities of improving and taking all of that media to the next step, through nationalising it, basically, the sharing of resources and actually pushing it further forward and raising the whole standards, that's what I was hoping would come out of it. Yeah.
Well, B News is back. You brought it back in its new incarnation, and one of its big events of the year this year as sponsor is as a sponsor of the Rainbow Awards, one of the biggest events on the queer calendar, in fact.
They're in a week's time, the presentation night, yes.
And they're what, 12 years old now?
Yeah, they started in 1992.
Wow, where's the time go?
By Alan Mabry, who's a really key person in organising this year. He was right there at the first one, and you had Bruce McNichol, who was heavily involved with Also at that stage, was also a key person in getting it started. And they are tremendously important. I mean, whether it's the Rainbows or what the name of the awards is, I mean, I think a community needs to recognise its achievements for the year and needs to recognise individuals.
There has been. We VoxPopped last year on the Rainbows to see what the community sort of attitudes were to them, and people said, "Oh, aren't they just a drag queen award, sort of stereotypical type thing?" But you do think it is a worthwhile thing to have, and
yeah. Look, I mean, that's the perception, and a lot of the front. I mean, a lot of the entertainment. I mean, look, the awards, the Rainbow Awards, are a blend of recognising entertainment achievement and community achievement. Certainly, the entertainers are more obvious than the community people, but look, of the 21 awards, there's something like 6 are entertainment awards. The rest are the whole range of other things. So. But certainly, those 6 are the loudest awards there, without a doubt. And, they play a really key part of the entertainment on the night.
But you've opened the voting up for the first time to the whole community. Previously, it was only like the sort of lighter, fluffy awards that were open to public voting, wasn't it?
Well, look, this year, the first time it's all done online.
Online.
That's the nominations and the voting. And yes, it's broken all records. So look, it's shown to us that's if you want to have a public involvement in the awards, that's the way to do it. There was something like 800 nominations across all categories from last count. I'm told that we've had close to 2,000 actual votes coming in. We're still, only halfway through that voting process. So,
and they're open until the 26th, aren't they? The nominations
Friday,
online?
the 26th, 5 p.m. is when voting will shut down. So
beautiful. What's the address people would go to if they want to vote?
The address is a little bit complicated, but it is in all good newspapers on the street. B News and Melbourne Star will both have the address, but it is outreach.com.au/Rainbows 2004.
Great, not too complicated. We'll put that up on screen for you. Do you think overall the Rainbows has a positive effect in unifying the community, or is it?
Look, I do. I mean, I think that's the second spin. Apart from recognising what people have given, it actually is. It's a bit like an industry night, really. You've got every venue coming with a table. You've got community groups coming. All the key players in the community, and look, there's stories that abound of, people who've had a tiff over something or other and haven't spoken to each other for a year, 2 years, are suddenly sort of thrust in a room together, and the kind of euphoria of the moment, and they've managed to overcome their differences. And
wow, so it's not so much as we hear fur flying, but love and togetherness.
look,
yeah,
there's an occasional bit of fur fly, I have to say, but
we have to
there's
hear
a lot of
that.
love.
God. Well, that's fantastic. November 30, the Rainbows. They are sold out already, aren't
Sold
they?
out, yes.
Beautiful. But it does sound like a very worthwhile occasion in our calendar to vote for. So get out there, get online to that address, support your community. Okay, Bill, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks,
and great to have your involvement in the Rainbows.
Great to be here.
And thank you, and it's back to Stevie in Q Weekly.
Thank you very much, Alan, and thank you very much, Bill. Now it is time for our Q calendar. That's right. Now, naturally, after following such an interview as that, the first thing I should mention is that Tuesday, 30th of November 2004, is the Rainbow Awards. Go along. Now, next Saturday, 27th of November, is the Positive Living Centre garage sale from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and proceeds from the garage sale will go towards the various programs for HIV positive people. And for more details on that, please contact the Positive Living Centre. On Sunday, the 28th of November, is the World AIDS Day concert. This free concert will be held at Federation Square starting at 12 noon and it will feature local and international musical acts, which will be a great day to go along to. Thursday, 2nd December 2004, Wire, issues for lesbian service providers. Does your service have contact with lesbians seeking support, information and referrals? Want to know more about issues affecting this client group? Explore the unique issues facing this group of service users by attending Wire's half-day training session where they look at health, domestic violence, support issues and the ageing. It's from 12:30 p.m, 2nd of the 12th, 2004 at the Queen Vic Women's Centre, Level 5, 201 Lonsdale Street. And for more information, you can contact 9206 0874. That's 9206 0874. Saturday, the 11th of December 2004 is Carol's Bike. The Gay Lesbian Choir and Rainbow Band get together for their 4th annual Christmas concert. And it's 8 p.m. at the Param Market Courtyard in Commercial Road, Param. The concert is free, so get along there and check it out. And for more information, you can log on to at mglc.org.au. Friday, the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, show me a fantastic New Year's Eve party in Lismore, New South Wales, organised by Tropical Fruits. Lismore is 2 hours south of Brisbane and very close to Byron Bay. So if you're in the area for New Year's, check it out. They even offer a gay crude DC-3 charter flight from Sydney and an accommodation package. And so for more information, please visit their website. Now, if you would like to appear here on Q Calendar, on Q Weekly, please drop us your press release or your details to feedback@benttv.org.au. Thank you very much for staying with us for Q Weekly this week. Be sure to stay tuned at 10:30 on Thursday night for Face to Face. Have a great week and I will see you again. Thanks very much for staying tuned. Good night.